Hi guys, I hope everybody is doing well. This is Gray Bryant, and I'm the mindfulness instructor here at Kinetics Wellness Studio. And today I was having a little bit of trouble with video, but I wanted to go ahead and get this recorded so I could share a loving kindness meditation with everybody. I thought it might be helpful to share a little bit from a few articles that I had recently read. One of them was called Self-Compassion, and that was by Kristen Neff, and the other one was The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion, and that was by Germer. And I think it's very applicable in these times, so I thought it might be worth a share. So while compassion is the ability to feel and to connect with the suffering of another human being, self-compassion is the ability to feel and connect with one's own suffering. So more specifically, for our purposes, self-compassion is the act of extending compassion to oneself in instances of perceived things like inadequacy or failure or general suffering. So if we're able to be self-compassionate, we need to offer ourselves the recognition, the validation, and the support that we would offer maybe, a loved one or a very good friend who is suffering. And I think that's a really hard thing to do, to be as kind to ourselves as we are to others. So in the one article by Kristen Neff, and that person is a professor of psychology at the University of Texas in Austin, and a leading researcher in the growing field of self-compassion. So in her book, Self-Compassion, she describes it as being open to and moved by one's own suffering, experiencing feelings of caring and kindness towards oneself, taking an understanding, non-judgmental attitude towards one's inadequacies and failures, and recognizing that one's experience is a part of the common human experience. So self-compassion, it encourages you to begin to treat yourself and to talk to yourself with the same kindness, the same caring, and the same compassion that you would show to a good friend or maybe even to your child. So just as connecting with suffering of others has actually been shown to comfort and even help heal others when they have ailments or problems, connecting to your own suffering, it can do the same exact thing for you. So putting mindfulness and compassion into practice. So both mindfulness and compassion have proven to help us alleviate stress and fear. So let's apply these practices to our current anxiety, fear, and stress reactions to the coronavirus. Okay, so let's draw the line between preparedness and panic. That would be the first step. When we're stressed or anxious, our thinking brains, they go offline and we go into survival mode. Intellectual information, it doesn't stick because we're busy running away from the danger, right? We have that fight, flight, freeze response. So only when our brains perceive safety does our thinking part of the brain, which is like our prefrontal cortex, come back online. And that's when we can rationally plan for the future. So for example, like when we're home, calmly writing a grocery list, our prefrontal cortex helps us to make a reasonable list. But then we get to the grocery store and we see everybody running around in a panic state, and suddenly we join in. So the scientific term for this is, it's like a social contagion, right? Which is basically the spread of emotion from person to person. And we talked about that a little bit last week. So what do we do about this phenomenon? So noticing that we're panicking is a good first step. Similar to taking your foot off the gas when your car is going out of control. Mindfulness, it helps us ground ourselves in the present moment, which helps our mind stop racing into the future with worry or catastrophic thinking. So grounding is a powerful but really simple strategy that can help you manage and detach from fear, anxiety, and pain. And the goal for grounding is to shift away. It shifts your attention away from the negative feelings towards the external world. So grounding is particularly powerful because it can be applied to any situation where you are caught in emotional pain. So it can be done anytime, anywhere, by yourself and without anybody actually noticing it. And most people report that they feel more present after practicing grounding. And in fact, many people are surprised to realize that they are out of their body, kind of disassociated more than they realize. Sometimes we talk about like autopilot, doing things, automatically on autopilot and not really paying attention to what we're doing. So practicing grounding whenever you're feeling extremely anxious or maybe having flashbacks or traumatic memories, and whenever you're feeling disassociated can be helpful. And I'm going to post some different grounding exercises on Instagram, and that's at kinetics_mindfulness, and I'll do that later this week. So the second step could be to learn how to stop your fears, many of which can feel quite real, from snowballing, like I'm going to lose my job, my grandparents are going to die, everybody I know is going to get sick, we're going to run out of food. So stopping those fears. And mindfulness practice, such as grounding exercises, can help you stop your fears from snowballing and to build good mental immunity to stress, anxiety, and panic. You can also learn to anchor yourself when you begin to obsess or panic. It's easy to focus if you are simply noticing what comes and goes. So problems arise. However, when you unconsciously resist discomfort, judge your discomfort, or allow your mind to begin obsessing and fantasizing, when this happens, you'll discover that a simple exercise, such as sitting still for a few minutes and allowing your thoughts to come and go, can be uncomfortable or even unbearable. Those minutes can feel like years because it's so difficult to allow ourselves to just observe and to just be without the automatic mental functions of labeling and judging, all those things taking over. The mind needs an anchor. So the most common anchor used in mindfulness is the breath. I always say the breath is like our remote control. Our breath is what we utilize the most. Paying attention to the breath is an excellent way to gain your attention and bring yourself into the present moment. And it's just a good thing to try to do. So a fourth thing can be to learn how to soothe yourself. So when you start to panic or obsess or feel triggered by something in your environment, you can try the following. Number one, gently stroking your arm or your face or maybe even your hair. Number two, gently rocking the body. Number three, giving yourself a warm hug. Noticing how your body feels after receiving each of these self-soothing techniques can also be helpful. Does it feel calmer? Does it feel more relaxed? And notice which of these self-soothing techniques feels best to you and kind of go to that when you're in times of need. And don't allow yourself to have that self-critical mind to try to talk yourself out of it. It's not silly, it's not self-centered, it's a soothing thing. It's a loving thing to do for yourself. So fifth thing can be stop judging yourself for feeling anxious and fearful or for behaving in ways that seem unproductive or unhealthy. So we need to take a fresh look at difficult emotions like fear and pain that can provide us with important information about what's happening inside each of us at this moment. Emotions, they become destructive, meaning they cause us maybe greater mental or physical suffering when we either cling to them or push them away. And emotions seem to get stronger the more we fight them. They're funny that way. So the healthier way to deal with these difficult emotions is to hold them in an open, aware, self-compassionate way. You can also change your relationship to your feelings by not judging an emotion or getting upset because you are feeling an emotion. Maybe just try telling yourself things like, I hate feeling like this, or I shouldn't feel like this, or I'm wrong to have this feeling. So don't do those things. Don't have those thoughts run through your head. Instead, become self-critical when you begin to panic or when you become obsessive. Instead of being self-critical, or instead of falling back into old coping methods like overreacting, you can work towards accepting your behavior with self-compassionate statements like, it's understandable that I would feel this way right now. It's understandable I'd be afraid. It's understandable I would go back to old habits when I'm stressed. So the key here is to stop the judging. It's to remind yourself that it's understandable, especially given the present situation with the coronavirus, right? That you might be afraid, you might be stressed or panicked, and that offering to yourself that understanding and that self-compassion, that will help you a lot more than judging or criticizing yourself. So here we come to our topic of combining mindfulness with self-compassion. So self-compassion and mindfulness, they work together kind of in a tandem to help you learn and lean into your fear and anxiety, right? And establish a new relationship with it. So the book that I mentioned earlier, The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion by Christopher Germer, it says, while mindfulness, right, with mindfulness you feel the pain. Self-compassion says, cherish yourself in the midst of pain. So mindfulness practice often leads to self-compassion. Mindfulness combined with self-compassion will help you to experience fear, anxiety, and pain in a safe dose instead of either avoiding these feelings or allowing them to overwhelm you and your focus and your functions. So self-compassion, it teaches us that instead of dealing with difficult emotions by fighting against them, we acknowledge our pain and we respond to it with kindness and with understanding. And as Kristen Neff so eloquently states in Self-Compassion, the beauty of self-compassion is that instead of replacing negative feelings with positive ones, new positive emotions are generated by embracing the negative ones. The positive emotions of care and connectedness are often felt alongside our painful feelings. So when we have compassion for ourselves, sunshine and shadow are experienced simultaneously. And that's an important thing to remember. Now, hopefully, all of that was a little bit helpful, but I think something that will be even more helpful to each of you is to go ahead and practice some loving kindness and some self compassion. So, let's go ahead and just settle in and just start by paying attention to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Not trying to change the breath in any way. Just being with the breath. Now place your left hand on the abdomen and the right hand on the heart. Notice the expansion on the in-breath and the contraction on the out-breath. Now place your hands in your lap. And it's important to note we're just in a position that's comfortable. We're not working on meditative postures right now. We're just simply being. So you could do this exercise sitting up in a chair or on a mat or lying down, just whatever's comfortable for you. Now let's check in. How do you feel right now? Physically, mentally, emotionally? How do you feel about yourself? Kindly accept these feelings. Be gentle with yourself. Accept that you'll be experiencing different feelings over the coming weeks, like everyone else. Hope, fear, annoyance, frustration, peace, anxiety, worry, excitement. It's normal to have a large range of emotions at a time like this. Be kind and be gentle with yourself. And now I want you to repeat these words that I'm going to say back to yourself. You can do this aloud or in your head. There's no wrong way. May I be healthy and strong. May I be safe and protected. May I be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May I look after my health as best I can. May I be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May I be patient and understanding. May I be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in my ways. May I be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May I be diligent and committed to my meditation practice and to helping others along in their spiritual path. May my true nature shine through and onto all beings I encounter. May I have what I need, and may I stay grounded. And at this time where we're so connected to everybody in our own homes, spending more time there, being, doing. Let us now reach out to everyone in your house. May every person and living being in my home be healthy and strong. May they be safe and protected. May they be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May they look after their health as best they can. May they be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May they be patient and understanding. May they be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in their ways. May they be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May they be diligent and committed to their own practices and to helping others along their spiritual path. May their true nature shine through and onto all beings they encounter. May they have what they need. May they stay grounded. And also in this time, let's go ahead and let's expand that. Let's expand that to our neighborhoods, our communities. May every person and living being in my neighborhood be healthy and strong. May they be safe and protected. May they be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May they look after their health as best they can. May they be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May they be patient and understanding. May they be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in their ways. May they be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May they be diligent and committed to their own practices and to helping others along their spiritual path. May their true nature shine through and onto all beings they encounter. May they have what they need. May they stay grounded. And now let's expand this to our city. May every person and living being in my city be healthy and strong. May they be safe and protected. May they be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May they look after their health as best they can. May they be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May they be patient and understanding. May they be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in their ways. May they be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May they be diligent and committed to their own practices and to helping others along their spiritual path. May their true nature shine through and unto all beings they encounter. May they have what they need, and may they stay grounded. And now expanding this to our country, to every person living and breathing and being with us in the United States. May every person and living being in my country be healthy and strong. May they be safe and protected. May they be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May they look after their own health as best they can. May they be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May they be patient and understanding. May they be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in their ways. May they be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May they be diligent in their own practices and to helping others along their spiritual path. May their true nature shine through and onto all beings they encounter. May they have what they need, and may they stay grounded. And now lastly, to the whole planet, all of our brothers and sisters, all creatures and beings. May every person and living being in the entire universe be healthy and strong. May they be safe and protected. May they be peaceful and free from mental, emotional, and physical suffering. May they look after their health as best they can. May they be hopeful, happy, and joyful. May they be patient and understanding. May they be loving, kind, compassionate, and gentle in their ways. May they be courageous in dealing with difficulties and always met with success. May they be diligent and committed to their meditation practices or any other practices that bring them joy, and to helping others along their spiritual path. May their true nature shine through and onto all beings they encounter. May they have what they need, and may they stay grounded. And now let's just take a few moments just to sit with our feelings. A few moments to just be as we are. Complete and whole in this moment. Nothing to do, nowhere to be.